Titus Andronicus is probably Shakespeare's strangest play. It's certainly his most savage. You have a number of child killings. The title character is responsible for at least the death of 24 of his own children. You've got a threatened baby. You've got a rape and a mutilation. You've got a number of different body dismemberments. It's a bloody, nasty play, and odd. It's an early tragedy, so one can always argue, and I think with some persuasiveness, that this is Shakespeare not yet in charge or not yet in full command of that genre. He really doesn't master the genre of tragedy till later in his career when he starts up with Othello and Hamlet and King Lear. But in the early 1590s, he does take a stab at this one, no pun intended. And things turn out in a very crazy, odd way. And so one of the first things a reader has to do is to try to make sense of this carnage. What's at stake here? What's driving him? What informs all of this? One thing I'd ask you to consider is, as you think through this play, is again the religious historical context. Shakespeare is writing in a Reformation culture which looks back to ancient Rome, and the play is set in ancient Rome, and it looks back in a somewhat bifurcated way. On the one hand, the humanist tradition in the early modern world reveres ancient Roman culture. It sees its value. In fact, it wants to emulate it. It wants to study Roman culture. On the other hand, Roman culture, while being in Rome, was not Christian. Was not Christian. So in that sense, it fits into a kind of intellectual and cultural purgatory for the early modern mind, including Shakespeare. When you look back to early Rome, this is a good culture. This is a culture you want to admire, but it's not Christian, and therefore it's deserving of some kind of skepticism. So when we look at Titus Andronicus, you want to have that in mind, that Shakespeare is looking back at that Roman world before the Catholic Roman world fully took shape.